Oh, hold on. Wait a second. Oh, okay. There we go. Now it's working. Oh, that's so weird. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Everything should be working now. Well, the audio is weird. There we go. Okay. I don't know what happened. That was so strange. That was so weird. I think my microphone must have gotten disconnected from the computer and reconnected, because at first it was not picking up the right microphone at all. But we got that sorted. So, ladies, gentlemen, and genetic anomalies, what is happening? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and if not, I hope that today's stream makes your day at least a little bit better. Today, I'm coming to you live from the East Coast of the United States of America, and we have a lot of things to talk about today. I'm going to be going over some comments I got recently on the Not a Doobie Highlights channel. That should be fun. It's always nice to get input from the viewers. But also on top of that, there was this video that went viral over the weekend. I think it was over the weekend, right? 7 hours ago. Well, this is about a story that went viral over the weekend about a woman who decided to go around dating far-right men or women that she perceived to be far-right. So I'll be reacting to that video because I think it'd probably be kind of interesting. I generally don't talk about relationships on the stream very often because I don't know how interested you guys would be in hearing a bench warmer doing gameplay breakdowns. But this video has been blowing up, and from what I hear, she says some very interesting things in this video. So it'd be nice to go over that. Also, we've got this news from the AP. Their ban basically has been revoked from the White House. They were banned from certain levels of access to the White House over the ways that they were referring to the Gulf of America. They were still calling it the Gulf of Mexico, and I think that's the main catalyst for them getting banned. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Also, this article, I've talked about this story in general, but that was more like a video saying like you guys shouldn't be getting your news from Snapchat. This is like the actual article about the actual issue and what was happening. The House passed a bill that requires proof of citizenship in order to vote. Very, very big and exciting news. So we'll be going over that as well, because I feel like not enough people are talking about that. I think that's big and that's huge for election integrity in the United States of America. Let's see, what else do we have? All these other stories, a whole bunch of stories on deck. We don't actually need to do a run through because what I'll do is I'll just read as many as I have the time to do. And if we get through everything, then what I'm going to do after that is play some X Defiant, hop onto the current Discord server that the Car 3 SMP folks use, chat with them for a bit as well. I feel like that should be fun. But you know, it's been a while since I've been live, of course, and I did want to make sure that I hit a lot of the major things that are happening in American politics right now. It's also been a while since I got root beer, so very, very much enjoying this. I last got root beer, I think when it was the NCAA, like the college football playoff championship, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get myself some root beer. Me and the fam were gonna chill and watch the games and drink the root beer or whatever. And I think we did end up doing that. And I'm not someone who, like, whenever I get beverages and drinks and stuff, I don't like drink them very quickly. So I've had like a bunch of not Red Bull. I've had a bunch of root beer in the fridge for a while. And I ran out, I think, like a month ago. But like, dude, I think that root beer is kind of underrated. It tastes great. I think the one thing that could make it better, of course, is if you put caffeine in it. I mean, I'm not a super avid caffeine consumer. Actually, the last time I went to the store and got drinks, I intentionally got drinks that had no caffeine. But I think for a lot of people, when they drink soda, they want caffeine. And I think if they put caffeine in root beer, that would open them up to a wider audience. I think a lot more people would be interested in like root beer if they made, like, I don't know, Bangs Charged or something. I don't know what they would call it, Bang Heavy. But But maybe that's not what they would call it. I don't know. but I don't know. I just always found it interesting that root beer is like one of the best tasting sodas, and it doesn't have any caffeine. No hate to Coca-Cola, but I think that Bang is way better. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the music because I do want to get to the stories I want to cover. But first of all, of course, whenever I get a lot of comments and feedback and stuff from you guys, I do like to go through the comments. And so I did want to go through a few of these. Oh, hold on. There was this one video. I don't know if I reacted to your guys' feedback on this. I'm going to pull these comments up as well. It's not like super old, but it's an older-ish video. The Dr. Disrespect one. I can't remember if I talked about this one. Actually, no, I do remember talking about this one, so I'm not going to do that. All right, so I saw that you guys had left a bunch of feedback for me in some of my most recent videos, and not some of my most recent videos. So I'm going to go over the stuff that you guys have had to say about my content, and I'll react to it and give, like, you know, clarifications, context, any sort of thing that's also needed. So there's this video that I had made almost a year ago called "Why is Christian Rapper Zonti flexing grills and silver chains on social media?" And if you guys didn't end up seeing the videos, I want to say, did I include them in this? I'm pretty sure I included them in this video. No, hold on, let me make sure my audio is correct. Okay, yeah. Check this. I am shocked that in the about it because it's been like kind of behind the scenes. Hold on, okay. You know, this is the music that he makes. I don't need to play I don't need to play Zonti's music for you guys. You guys, if you're watching this video, probably are already familiar with Zonti, or his music anyways. God, superstar, all of that. But here is the video that sort of raised alarm bells in my mind. It was like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's like a red flag. Here it is. It's really just that. But this is the main, I think, catalyst for a lot of criticism that Zonti's been getting lately. And by the way, he was getting a lot of criticism at the time for this. I remember in the comment section, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And the majority of comments were negative as well. But this is the video sort of that sparked all of that, just for context.
Man, it's King of things right here. You know, God, superstar. This will be the biggest superstar for 2024. You know how it do. Hard work got first, yeah. Hard work got first, yeah. Hard work got first, yeah. To the day I'm in the dirt, yeah. Jesus Christ is Lord, yeah. I know who I serve, yeah. You remember, yeah. Come on. Yo, that's crazy, dude. Yeah. Baby, let's go. Yeah. So I think my general analysis of this was, it's kind of weird, you know, if you are a Christian rapper going out there flexing and being like, oh, look, I went and bought this expensive jewelry. Look, I'm all like iced out. I got all these diamonds and chains and things. It just was like a weird look. Not to say that if you're a Christian, you can't wear chains. If you're a Christian, you can't wear jewelry. But it seemed like a bit of a flex to be like, look at me, I'm going to the jeweler. This is like the most premier jeweler. I think this guy, Johnny Dang or whatever, is like one of the most premier jewelers and dealers of this type of jewelry. So it's like very premium levels of jewelry as well. It's not just no simple chain or anything like that. Extremely iced out grills, iced out chain. It just seemed like a bit much for him to be doing, and also running around calling himself God Superstar and all this. Seemed very like braggadocious, and even like a little bit extra even for rap, because, you know, rap naturally, you know, people brag a little bit and flex or whatever about their skills and things, but this just seemed to be above and beyond that. It's also above and beyond anything I've ever seen a Christian rapper do. So that's why I had mentioned it in this video, kind of asking the question, why is he flexing grills and silver chains on social media? I know he did an interview with Rapzilla talking about it. Maybe I'll react to that interview at some point, but I just haven't yet. Now, apparently some of Zonti's fans found my video last week because I got a couple comments kind of closely together. I'm assuming these are his fans. I don't think it's like his manager or anything. But because I know in like one post that he made, he had some dude who was like defending him super heavily in the comment section, and people are like, hey, are you his manager? And he wasn't responding to those comments. But here are some of the comments that I got. So there's one from Angelina Hendo. It says, hi, my name is Angelina.
Hi, Angelina. Nice to meet you. And I am a zealot who loves Zonti's music. Zealot, I think, is the name of like his fans or whatever. I've got the bread gang. He's got the zealots. He is God's child. No apostrophe or anything there. Or comma. People shouldn't judge because people shouldn't judge because of his grills. You should look at his heart for God. And if you have a problem with his grills, I have gold braces to show off that if people want to judge others because of how they look, you should at least go to his concert first before judging you. Okay. I think his grills are cool, so I am encouraging people in the comments to stand up for him, to stand up against this hate. If you're a zealot, please stand up and say what you think. This guy is wrong. My sister, I met him in person and says he's so sweet and kind-hearted. He is all for God, like his music says. Go and listen to his new song, Sinner. Oh, is this all these comments promoting a new song? Did he literally drop a new song? Wait, when did he drop his most recent song? That's so weird. Hold on. What's Zonti's latest song? Actually, I should probably be opening up Spotify, but it is what it is. Whatever. I did see Sinner there, but when did Sinner come out? 4 months ago. So it's not even that new of a song. Okay, still a bit strange though. But yeah, so, my only thing about this is, first of all, you don't have to go to somebody's concert to like be like, the way that person's acting is a little bit strange. And I think I actually hedged myself quite a bit. I was like, this guy might not be doing this out of pride or out of arrogance or whatever, but it just, the way that it seems off. That's all I was saying, because I can't judge the guy's motives. He could very well just be like, I don't even know. Because Johnny Dang is such a prominent content creator, this very clearly was content. Maybe he was like, well, maybe I will try to do some crossover for Johnny Dang's audience. They'll see me, they will check out my content, my music. And I think Johnny Dang's audience is overwhelmingly non-Christian, so maybe he viewed it as a gospel opportunity, a way to spread the gospel to those viewers. And if that's what he was trying to do, I sort of get that. But still, it just, from the outside looking in, it just seemed like a bit much. I'm not condemning him at all. I'm just saying that it's a bad look. This is from Gwendolyn Hendall. Wait, the same person. Wait. Oh, these are siblings or something. That's so strange though. I've never seen like one person be like, oh yeah, my sister, listen to what my sister said, and then the sister being there in the comments. That's kind of interesting. Gwendolyn Hendall says, hey, I am a huge fan of Zonti, and I seen this video and just wanted to say, number one, appearance doesn't matter because God looks at the heart. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll keep reading this. Okay. Number one, appearance doesn't matter because God looks at the heart, and second of all, the Bible says that. No, not the two sisters with the surface level theology. No. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna read this all the way through again. Okay, hold on. Hey, I'm a huge fan of Zonti, and I've seen this video and just wanted to say, number one, appearance doesn't matter because God looks at the heart, and second of all, the Bible says not to judge, and third of all, I met him in person. He is the kindest, sweetest, most genuine Christian rapper that I've ever met. Hashtag zealot gang all day. Okay, maybe they are zealots, that's for sure. But look, okay, I'll go down your two theological bullet points. To say appearance doesn't matter because God looks at the heart. You can still look at the way that's. It's not about appearance. This is not about appearance at all, right? If he's wearing grills, I don't care. If he's wearing a chain, I don't care. This is mostly about him sort of like going to the jewelers being like, hey guys, look, I'm iced out with some of the most expensive jewelry one could possibly get. See how much money I made from all this touring, all these performances. Look at how rich I am. I can afford to get all these crazy silver grills and chains. That's kind of what it felt like watching that video. That's sort of like the message that I got from the video that he made with Johnny Dang. I don't care about the appearance, but also when it goes to the second part where it says the Bible says not to judge, you could still look at someone's actions and being like, hey, that seems like off the behavior for a believer to do, right? You could still just like critique someone's actions or say, hey, it looks like that person is behaving in a certain way. So I think it's not outside the bounds of reason to see someone doing things that look kind of like what someone who is like prideful and arrogant and trying to flex would do, and being like, hey, you look like you're being prideful and you look like you're flexing. Not necessarily saying that that's what he's doing. I think it was very clear in the initial video. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing. I'm saying that's what it looks like, and it's a bit odd to me because you don't see Christian rappers doing it very often. That's all I was saying. And I think that I was within my rights to say that. It didn't seem out of bounds in my opinion. Of course, so I'm going to be biased because I'm me, but that's just kind of where I was coming from in this video. All right, so we have a comment on this video as well. This is my video, Vivek Ramaswamy debates Steven Crowder on ethnic pride, and it did not go how I expected. That was a wild ride. So here, John F. Are these like AI titles, AI usernames? These are weird usernames. Anyways, this person, we'll call him John, says, I am Indian that was born in the US and I was a huge Trump supporter, and when I saw how no one really came to Vivek's defense, I realized some Republicans vote based on if you're a white Christian male, not based on your political beliefs. I jumped off Republican vote from there. Okay. This is a really good critique of the Republican Party. And I think this is a lesson that the left as well as the right, but the right should definitely be learning from moments like these. I don't think that there was much discussion about this moment in political history. I don't know if anyone even remembers what this was about. This is about Vivek Ramaswamy's interview with, I believe it was Ann Coulter, where she basically said, I wouldn't vote for you because you're not white or you're not Christian, whatever it was that she said. Why is there someone spamming in my chat? Claire, and what is this? I've never seen chat messages like this before. Hold on, wait a second. I think I might have something for you. Give me a moment. Claire Bryant, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing okay. Hold on, wait. Let me look this up. Because I think what I'm about to pull up here might be a little bit relevant. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, there we go.
When it comes to stroke, unfortunately, a lot of people, men in particular, don't tend to recognize the symptoms of a stroke. Only about a third of people actually know what the symptoms of a stroke are, including people, unfortunately, who even had a stroke before. So really important that for men and women, but for men in particular, we want them to know the stroke symptoms that occur. So we use an acronym to talk about stroke symptoms, and this is something I want men to be particularly aware of. So we use an acronym called B FAST. B stands for balance, if you're having difficulty with your balance when you're walking. E stands for eyes, so any kind of visual problem, having difficulty seeing or losing vision in an eye. And then FAST, F standing for face, if there's droopiness in the face on one side or the other. A standing for arm, so any weakness of the arm, or potentially if you have any kind of weakness in the leg, that would also apply as well. And then S standing for speech, so speech difficulty getting your words out or slurring your words. And then that leads us to the T, which is time. That means, again, time to call 911, get to medical attention right away, as soon as possible.
Okay, so I figured I would go through that. I don't know if you're having a stroke. These, I feel like, they're the types of messages that someone would send if they were having a stroke, but I figured it would be fair to mention, if you think you're having a stroke, call 911. Yeah, that's the main message. Sorry, I just saw a flurry of those chat messages. I'm like, something doesn't seem right. Hey, if you're having a stroke, now you know what to do, okay? Now, back to the topic at hand. So here's the thing about this, right? And this is something that I've sort of learned while I have navigated the American sort of like political landscape, as well as others have navigated the American political landscape, is that you are never going to find one group, or maybe you'll find a group, but you're never going to find one political party that will accurately represent all of your interests. I remember back in the late 2010s trying to figure out, like as I was having to be registered to vote or whatever, trying to figure out which political party I would sign up for. I've always leaned to the right, at least on social issues, but when I sort of was becoming more interested and aware of politics, I was sort of like doing that in the wake of the Tea Party movement, the Tax Enough Already movement. If you guys don't remember that, it was sort of like a bizarro world version of Occupy Wall Street, except it was like basically Occupy Wall Street stuff, right-wing libertarian, more or less. It was all focused on shrinking the government, having balanced budgets, those type of things, but it's not full libertarian. Like, they didn't want to like allow you to give your babies LSD or something, like, you know what I mean? So I was looking at that. I was like, okay, the Republican Party is pretty dope. And then after a while, I was observing what Congress was doing, continually passing all of these spending bills that were adding to the government debt rather than reducing government debt. And I was like, well, these people don't represent my interests. Why would I join the Republican Party if they are not pushing my interests? And then after a while, I was like, well, hold on. The Democrat Party is not pushing my interests either. And what do I want out of my participation in the political process? Do I want to just join a club of the people who agree with me? Or do I want to look at the largest group that is most closely aligned with my values and push them into the direction of doing what I want them to do politically, to put it in basic terms, let's say. And I was like, well, obviously that would be the Republican Party, because, well, the Republican Party does not accurately represent me as a person necessarily. They are as close as I'm going to get to having a party that represents me and my political values and being relatively aligned with my worldview, as much as the Republican Party could be aligned with a Christian. So that's why I joined the Republican Party. So what I want to say to you, John, is that don't let these bad actors in the Republican Party make you leave the Republican Party. If anything, the Republican Party needs people like you to push against racism from fringe members of the party, such as Ann Coulter. Because I think without you, the issue that you observe just gets worse, right? Without people like me voting for people who are in favor of reducing government spending, for example, spending in the Republican Party just going to keep on going up. Without people like you pushing back against anti-Indian racism in the Republican Party, then, you know, the Republican Party is going to continue to push against people like Vivek Ramaswamy just because of his heritage and just because of his beliefs. So that's what I would say to you. Don't let things like that scare you from the Republican Party. And also, I would say the same thing to members on the left as well, even though the people I would say that to, they would be quite radical, and I would be like mostly in opposition to you politically, is, hey, you know, don't let the neoliberals in the Democrat Party scare you away either, because they're the closest people that exist to pushing your political agenda. So you should team up with the people who are closest and then bring them even closer to where you want them to be. Also, so I hope, John, I hope that answers your question. If you had other thoughts, please leave them down in the comments below. I'd like to hear them. I forgot about this video as well. So this is one of my recent videos. This is called "The Wisecrack Guys Lying to You About Toxic Empathy." I'm glad that this one is doing numbers for me. You know, double digits is numbers for me. If I'm doing numbers, if I'm getting double digits, let's be honest. I'm glad this one is sort of getting some views, because Michael Burns, the wisecrack guy, as I called him, he did some very blatant lying in this video. I was absolutely stunned and reeling afterwards. Like, dude, it takes a certain level of content creation to make an 8-minute video that I spend 47 minutes reacting to. Absolutely bonkers video. And I'm glad that I even got enough views to get some comments as well. So we got this comment here from Mason Darden. It says, at the end of the day, empathy can easily be turned into fear, and that fear can make it easy for people to follow. What you said with some of those examples of people abusing systems or things the left promotes, even though it's not spread, they take your empathy of someone overdosing on a patch of drugs or something else and place fear into whoever group did it. Therefore, you lose empathy for that group of people. To sum it up, this is a good way of dividing people and making them fight over arguments on a group versus group instead of individual basis. Correct, right? And one thing that people on both sides of this argument completely forget is that you could have empathy for both sides and still promote a policy that makes one side feel bad or makes them cry. You can still do that. Like you could still have empathy for illegal immigrants, for example, right? Coming over to the country and doing a dangerous and harrowing journey in pursuit of a better life, and still deport them, right? Because you're in pursuit of justice and folks abiding by the law and all that stuff, right? So empathy does not necessarily map onto supporting policies that you agree with, and that was generally my thesis in this video as well. But what Mason Darden points out is very important as well, which is it's a big tool where, especially the left does this, but the right does this as well. They will go like, oh, you can't sympathize with this person because they're bad or whatever. Like, they would never tell you to sympathize with a Tesla car owner who's got their car keyed by a radical progressive, right? Like, they would never tell you to do that. So their empathy is selective as much as they claim that it's all encompassing. Actually, Unaware said, I think it's interesting that he brought up the book Sin of Empathy because the only discourse I've heard about it is Christians disagreeing with it and deriding its message. Well, I gotta say this, right? Now, I haven't heard much discourse about the book, to be fair, but and Michael Burns lied about this book. He said, well, he made it seem like the majority of people were disagreeing with the content of the book when the majority of people actually liked the book. But if you just go to the reviews, this book has 91% 5-star reviews. Now, I don't know if these reviews were paid or whatever, but this guy got, 90, or not guy, it's Ali Bestucky, but Ali Bestucky got 91% 5-star reviews on this book, as much as Michael Burns from Wisecrack tried to make it seem like she didn't. So I think it's a bit misleading to even say that the majority of conversations or perception of regarding this book is negative, because the majority of people who read the book really, really liked it. So I'm not even sure how much I agree or believe this comment. For those of you who feel like leaving comments on my videos, I greatly appreciate it. You guys give me some interesting things to talk about. You guys point out, I think, some more intelligent, you guys make more intelligent points than even some of the people that I'm reacting to in these videos do. So I really love that you guys are adding to the discourse and giving me something better to react to than some of these people that I react to on the streams. Keep it up if you feel like it. When you guys leave, a few comments or whatever, then I'll do another video reacting to your guys' comments. If it gets to be too much or whatever, then maybe I'll do something. But for now, the volume of comments is so small that I'm able to make these videos. So I am enjoying this. Please leave comments if you feel so obligated. Feel so inclined, whatever. Anyways. Hold on. So this is interesting. So, and I don't have the article pulled up for me, pulled up right now. But there's this person named Vera Papisova, who made an article saying, talking about her experience in choosing to date only far-right men for a year and kind of going through what that's like. And I heard a little bit on the Timcast IRL podcast about this. They talked about the article. There's a whole article, and maybe I'll read it at some point if you guys want me to in a future stream. But I felt like this clip here is what a lot of people are going to see from this woman. I don't know how many people are going to actually read the article. So I figured I would react to this and hear what she has to say about the people that she dated. Because I don't know. I don't really engage with far-right people very often. I don't think I have a single far-right friend. Honestly, I'm racking my brain, but I can't think of a single far-right friend that I have. I have a few far-left friends, I think 1 or 2 at least. But I can't think of any far-right friends that I have. So it'd be interesting to see what her feedback in regards to these people was. And how she even found these people, because I don't know that far-right men are all that common in general. I think a lot of them are lurkers online. I don't even know if they go outside. So
CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan got in the cage with former UFC star turned podcaster Jake Shields to explore the manosphere and why exactly it's so popular.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera.
By the way, this is I don't know what this is called. I forget what it's called, but this is a common phenomenon, right? Because, and I'm not going to pull up all the charts, but in general, women have women have skewed more to the left than men have to the right, and so a lot of times in dating scenarios, men will pretend to be moderates or closer to the left so that they don't drive away these increasingly far left women. So what she's referring to there, very, very real phenomenon, right? Where you got these two-faced men running around pretending that they're liberals when really they're raging Republicans.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure because...
Actually, hold on. I'm going to change something. There's a setting I meant to change. Hold on. I'm gonna crank up the gain a little bit on my desktop audio because in my editing I've noticed that the sound is a little bit quiet. So I'm gonna play this. Let me know if you guys like the new volume here.
They don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media and they're only listening to men talking to men.
The manosphere...
That's interesting. So I mean, I think getting your information from independent media isn't bad. It's very helpful. But I think a mixture of independent and established media is good because independent media, especially when they work all by themselves, often they can get things wrong. They don't have the same levels of checks and balances as the mainstream media does. The mainstream media, so independent media often lies on accident. Mainstream media often lies on purpose. That's the difference between the lies that you'll get on both sides. If you look at both, right, you get some independent media and then you get some established media, mix it together, see what they have to say about each other. Can make it very easy to determine for yourself what you think is true or not. I don't think it's good to have your foot in only one arena or the other when it comes to consuming your news and information.
Men talking to men.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
What does that mean? White
There's no
money?
such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
Oh,
It's a
like
space
money. Okay.
female.
Most women have...
Hold on. These subtitles are trash. And there's no auto. I love Google subtitles.
Made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
It's a space where UFC fighters are among those who reign supreme.
They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're
One thing I want to say about those two individuals, one of them is he Fit from Fresh and Fit? One of the guys, and the other guy is Andrew Tate. Interestingly enough, the way that these people, they sort of have postured themselves and people who are members of the manosphere sort of view and revere them, they view them as like alpha males. But in reality, if you look at how they behave, at least online, they're actually, you know how like one of the lines of argumentation or one of the claims that you'll hear on the manosphere is that women are emotional. Well, these people, the way that they present themselves, they're actually more emotional than the women that they're hating on for being emotional, allegedly. So, like, just the hypocrisy in that as well. Like, these are not. Don't get it twisted. If you're watching my videos, these people are not alpha males in any respect. These are immature people who sort of like wished that they could still be in their frat, more or less, is what I get out of watching their content.
modern gladiators. They're badass.
Badass like Jake Shields, a former UFC star turned podcaster.
Alright. Now I'm starting to feel nervous. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an MMA.
Why are you feeling nervous? The one thing about being in the MMA is that, like, there's different. Here's the thing: MMA fighters and UFC fighters, all those folks, they know how to control themselves, to control their body. They generally, usually have discipline, and they don't just run around beating people up, right? That's the difference between being in the boxing ring and being in jail, right? If these people did not have self-control to like not just take random people out, then they would be in jail. They wouldn't be in the boxing ring. So I don't know what he's feeling nervous for. I don't know. What am I supposed to say here? Beta. I mean, but like, I'm not gonna say that's mean, but like, just because he can't fight doesn't mean he's gonna hurt you. I don't get it.
Now I'm starting to feel nervous. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an MMA gym in Las Vegas.
Like all great MMA pros. I've never hit anyone in my life.
I'm not punching back. Hit me. No, sit right here. Okay,
Whoa.
okay.
Did he punch him? Aren't they supposed to be? Oh, I see
This
their
is
spot.
CNN. Do you miss being full-time pro, like in terms of?
You know, of course I miss it. To go from professional athlete, which is the highest of highs, to retirement.
And I
You
guess
have to
the
podcast has helped. You could fall into depression if you just go from the most amazing career where you're famous and spotlights to all of a sudden you're a nobody.
Sure.
Like other podcasters in the manosphere, Jake regularly hosts controversial guests.
And I named the podcast Fighting Back. I feel like we have to fight back what we're told we're allowed to do. I just don't like to be told you're not allowed to talk to this person. Like, why can't I talk to him? I'm not saying I agree with his ideology, but I should hear what he has to say.
He's hosted the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Today I have a very, very
That's pretty cool. And I'm not calling the former leader of the Ku Klux Klan cool. You know, let's make that clear. But just David Duke. Oh wow, like having someone on. I don't know if he challenged any of his viewpoints, but like, I don't know. I think that especially people with radical views, you should have them on to sort of expose the radical views for what they are. You know, so.
Yes, Dr. David Duke. I knew you're controversial, but I had no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo.
Wait, Tim, I'm not even going to say my man's because I'm not claiming him. But, like, did he really say he had no idea how controversial the former leader of the Ku Klux Klan was? My guy, maybe he was buried in the sports world for a while and just, like, somehow didn't know much about the KKK, but, like, even then, bad excuse.
Yes, Dr. David Duke. I knew you're controversial, but I had no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader of the white supremacist group Patriot Front.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that they had I didn't know Patriot Front had a leader that didn't wear a mask.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes,
they all looked like they escaped from the hospital.
Group Patriot Front.
Like they had like facial burns. They were just like, nah, man, we're out.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes,
let's hit race, because you're a white-only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe, so they're white.
Bruh.
Of the American spirit, fight on!
Yeah, no, I understand and talk to these guys, but I've also not brought anyone hateful. If I do,
Okay.
I'm going to be really on top of them.
But so you saying that you haven't brought someone hateful on, right? People will say, well, you brought on a Grand Wizard of the KKK, you brought on Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
No, I think those are excellent questions, but if people go and watch the actual interviews, I think they would be like, oh, this guy's not near as hateful as if I expect it.
But Vera says hate
Interesting. I don't know. When it comes to groups like that, it doesn't matter to me how non-hateful the leaders might be, because the rhetoric that they are spewing, it is literally, it's the same ideology of someone who would be hateful. Patriot Front is rejecting non-whites from their group, for example. So even if the leader of Patriot Front isn't hateful, when you built the bedrock of your organization upon being racist, it's going to be a breeding ground for hateful people. So I mean, what are these? There's no way that these leaders are going into their respective radical far right groups and saying, "Hey, guys, don't call black people the N-word. That's mean." Like, there's no way you've got people in those groups doing that at all. So, of course, there some of these radical leaders as well. They tend to be duplicitous when they're in more mainstream interviews and they present themselves in a certain way that makes them seem like their one way, but then when they go back into their cave or whatever and are back in engaging with their regular audience, and they no longer are behaving as cordially and peacefully and politely as they presented themselves.
Isn't what the men she dated were really looking for.
One of these guys brought me to a political meeting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men complaining about girlfriends and wives, regurgitating Andrew Tate type of advice about how to train your girlfriend, how to train your wife to be submissive. And
now this is very interesting. And I have made this delineation in my Discord server. People assume that talking about relationships and the way that people engage with each other is political. It's not. Like, I have a politics channel in my Discord server. I've got this whole section in my Discord server called Area 51, where the reason I called it Area 51 is these are like the types of things that they will tell you not to talk about the Thanksgiving dinner table. So these are like for talking about things that are controversial, things that might cause arguments, things that might cause debates. If you don't want to engage with any of that stuff, just don't go into Area 51 and you'll be good. You've got super chill conversations. You can, in other channels, you can talk about shows and movies, streamers, anything you want in the other channels, music. But if you want to talk about the more heated things, the more divisive things, the more controversial things, go over to Area 51. And in Area 51, I have 3 channels. I've got politics, I've got religion, and then I have a place called the pharmacy. And this is, the pharmacy refers to like a red pill versus a blue pill and all that debate. And that is the place where you go to talk about relationships and social dynamics and all those things. That is different from politics, because politics refers to policy, the way that people create and form laws in ways that affect the country and the nation and the world. It's entirely different than talking about how men engage with women and how women engage with men, how people should date, how people shouldn't date, the state of the current dating scene. That has nothing to do with politics, unless you're saying, oh, women shouldn't be allowed to vote, and then that goes back into politics, right? But which I don't agree with, by the way. just making that clear. But talking about men and women and their relation to each other is not political. And if anything, it's probably more religious than it is political.
So this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems. And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy.
The interesting thing about this line is, it's kind of interesting because if you're not going to get therapy, the next best thing is talking through your problems with other people, which it seems like is what these people are doing. I guess the problem is that they all have the same problems or the same grievances, and so they're spending the time blaming the people they're having problems with for the problems rather than looking inwardly to see what they're doing wrong. That's the assumption I would make.
The appeal of Jake's podcast speaks to a need among young men in this country that Vera says can't be ignored.
You have to incentivize someone to want to be better. You can't just say, let's make men better. The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
It's interesting because when, like, I don't know what activities guys would like go and do in person that sort of would not get them branded in an overtly negative way that would still appeal to especially men who are looking for some sort of form of masculinity. Like, you could join a gun club, but then you would probably be viewed as like some sort of nut. You could go do boxing or whatever, sparring, wrestling. I guess like wrestling people don't look down on too much, but like I think there was a group that was formed that like intentionally was initially supposed to be for men to just like get beers and hang out. I think it was, what was it, Gavin McGinnis formed it, the co-founder of Vice, and then it got alt-right and then he left basically. What was the name of the group? The Proud Boys. Yes, the Proud Boys basically did exactly what she was saying, which is like, people need a support group that's outside of the internet, and they need like to get together and goof off and hang out. That's what the Proud Boys were doing. But then I think part of it is the people who ended up going there were alt-right, and then eventually turned it into an alt-right group, driving away the founder as well as some of the initial members. So that, of course, is one problem. But I don't know. I think when it comes to being online, it's harder to drive men to keep men from congregating online versus in person, because like if you're, I don't know, it's just there are fewer barriers of entry, especially if you're like a hermit, like right, like you're just like staying inside. There's less effort as well when it comes to engaging with other men. So kind of interesting though. I do agree with her that going outside and hanging out with people in real life is better, right, than just staying inside and being in these online support groups. But even if you take those groups and take them in the real world, then you get the same problem which she accounted, which is now you've just got a bunch of men sitting in a circle trash talking women. That's not helpful or healthy either.
Their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer community, but community based on racism and hate.
People have to really think about, do you have the capacity to talk to people that you don't agree with? Because that one nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
One thing I would like to add is I think a lot of these men have sort of learned, a lot of this is learned behavior from the progressive and feminist movement, where a lot of their rhetoric is hateful against white people and against men. So when they spend a lot of time online observing a lot of that type of information and rhetoric, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, if they hate me, then I'm gonna go and hate them, right? And I think that's probably the basis of that's one of the causes of this problem as well. If they sort of like looked outside that for a second and been like, okay, well, is it fine to be hateful? Like, would you just go out and tell people, hey, yo, be hateful? Like, no, you wouldn't. So then when it comes to sort of finding a group to join, it's pretty bad to be like, oh, I'm just gonna join a group that's hateful of other people, but hey, at least they're not hateful of me. You know what I mean? Now, maybe a lot of these people, they just feel like browbeaten by cultural messaging that has spoken down to them for decades or wherever, however long they've been observing this type of media. But it's still, I don't think that it's an excuse, because there's more than a binary of either you hate men or you hate women. Like there's a lot more to engaging with the world than that.
Donny O'Sullivan is here with us now. Donny, I'm so glad you've done this special. There's so much intrigue around this issue of the manosphere. And in fact, Trump is going to the UFC tonight. How big of a role does the sport play in the manosphere?
Hey, Isabel. Yeah, and look, we should point out at the start here, there's tons of guys who are fans, and some women as well, who are fans of the UFC. I have many friends who are fans of the UFC. It certainly does not mean, you know, that if you are a fan of the UFC, you are falling sort of down this rabbit hole of hate and white supremacy and everything else.
I will say, though, that the UFC is the only sport I've ever seen where members of the sport, like sports stars and like, I don't know, they're not players, but like people who are engaging in the sport can be actively like racist or sexist, and they will not get hated for that. It's not very often that I see that, but I do see it. I'm like, huh, that's very, very interesting.
But what we are seeing is that there is this sort of there is this crossover. The UFC is playing a greater and bigger role, really, in American life. Joe Rogan, who's the world's biggest podcaster, is a UFC commentator. Dana White, who is the founder of the UFC, is a prominent Trump supporter and was recently appointed to the board of Meta by Mark Zuckerberg himself, another big MMA and UFC fan. And actually, fighting tonight in Miami. Trump is going to the event. We're not sure if he'll be there for the earlier fights, but fighting tonight in Miami at the UFC event is a fighter by the name of Bryce Mitchell, who recently set up a podcast of his own, and on his debut episode a few months ago, he said that Hitler was a quote-unquote good guy or a great guy. Dana White, the head of the UFC, was quick to condemn that, but you can just kind of see there where folks who might be coming into this sport for one reason are a fan of fighting, and then they're getting exposed to views like Bryce Mitchell's.
Yeah, I mean, exposure to the views doesn't mean that you're going to adhere to them. So I don't think that's as problematic as he's making it out to be. But I think it's good. Like I'm on the right politically, and I don't hate men either. But I think I don't think that I think it's a good thing that they are talking about extremism from the manosphere, because as much as I don't like third wave feminism, I think that the manosphere is equally as bad. And so I think that the extremism on both sides needs to be combated. Now, I hope that they engage honestly with much of the rhetoric that they talk about in the manosphere, because just a lot of the argumentation that the far right in that sphere uses is extremely flawed. And so to see it broken down to such a mainstream audience such as those on CNN, I think could probably arm their viewers with good lines of argumentation to refute some of the arguments when engaging with members of the far right that they come in contact with. So hopefully that special ends up being helpful and is an honest critique of the manosphere, because I think that something like that could be very, very useful. We already have plenty of useful critiques of feminism, I think, but it'd be good to have a critique of the manosphere as well. All right, let's see here. We've got some other news here. We've got this story from the Associated Press. This is the Associated Press reporting that the Associated Press has won a battle against the White House. So the White House, they were sort of beefing with the Associated Press. So they got them kicked out of, what are they, where were they? Let me see, where was it? Okay, here we go. The AP has been blocked since February 11th from being among the small group of journalists to cover Trump in the Oval Office or aboard Air Force One with a sporadic ability to cover him at events in the East Room. So what essentially happened was Trump declared that the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. AP continued to refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico, and in response, the White House said, well, you are not allowed to engage with the president, cover the president from these certain areas. Now, as I understand it, I think that the White House was completely within their right to do this. Actually, hold on, wait. What was the reasoning for this ruling, actually? U.S. District Judge Trevor McFadden, an appointee of President Donald Trump, ruled that the government can retaliate against the AP's decision not to follow the president's executive order to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Decision, or a preliminary injunction, it's a preliminary injunction, handed the AP major victory at a time the White House has been challenging the press on several levels. Under the First Amendment, if the government opens its doors to some journalists, be in the Oval Office, the East Room, or elsewhere, it cannot then shut those doors to other journalists because of their viewpoints. McFadden wrote, the Constitution requires no less. That it would shock me if that argumentation held up in court. It is unclear whether the White House would move immediately to put McFadden's ruling into effect. Yeah, I don't know what it would be about the First Amendment saying that the government cannot discriminate based on viewpoints. But hey, I mean, maybe it'll get kicked up to the Supreme Court, and we'll see and we'll see like ruling on a reasoning for that decision. What I would say is, and this was my position as soon as I heard the news, is that the White House is completely within their right to say, hey, you are not allowed to be covering us in this specific way, but you are. This is actually how things have been done in the past. This is actually how things were done under the Joe Biden administration. If you guys don't remember, there was an African journalist who got kicked out of the press pool for asking too many hard questions of the Joe Biden administration. And while, maybe I don't like that's censorship or whatever, at the same time, the White House should not be obligated to just have anyone who wants to be a member of the press pool or cover the president a certain way to be able to cover the president in a certain way. One reason for that being, of course, is that there are too many media organizations, especially independent media, which is now being recognized by the White House finally, that it would just get too crowded. The obligation would just make it be impossible to even cover the president properly, adequately, and most journalists wouldn't even be able to get their questions answered in the first place. So I think that Trump is in his right to have the AP banned, but he shouldn't have had them banned, because you should have even biased media in your press pool. Like, I love that the White House has opened up the press pool to podcasters and things. Like, I think that the Young Turks should be able to ask questions alongside MSNBC and NBC News. And I think that InfoWars and Timcast IRL should be able to ask questions alongside Fox News. Like, there should be parity. People should be able to have their questions asked. It was really cool. Let me see if I can find this. Maybe I'll react to it later. But Jordan, the Jordan is my lawyer person. She was able to ask a question of the press secretary about tariffs that one of her viewers brought in. It was very, very cool that she was able to ask that question, even though the press secretary kind of gave her the runaround. I thought that was a really neat moment where it's like, oh, cool. Like, we've got this podcaster here who was able to ask a question directly from the American people. I just thought that was pretty dope. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be complaining though that the AP is going to be forced to be put back into the press pool, because at the end of the day, I think the AP does good work. I do think that it would restrict the White House's ability in the future to kick people out of the press pool, which I think they should have the right to do. So I am slightly concerned about that. But in the immediate, not anything I'm too upset or concerned about, really. Oh my, excuse me. I guess this is what happens when I drink root beer while I'm streaming. Let's see here. Yeah, I was able to find that interview.
Prices for airfare, used vehicles, and car insurance all decreased as well.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. I have started listening to Jordan Is My Lawyer recently. It's a very neutral podcast, and she was able to ask a question in the White House press briefing. Let me see if I can find the moment where she asked that question. Okay, here we go.
We have Jordan Berman. We urge Congress to swiftly pass this important legislation. Here in our new media seat today, we have Jordan Berman. Jordan is a social media content creator and influencer and a lawyer who grew up breaking down the news from a neutral perspective. Jordan is the host of her own podcast called Unbiased Politics, where she dissects the top stories from the week from a legal perspective. Jordan focuses on bringing back real journalism from a nonpartisan perspective and has mastered explaining complex legal decisions to a mass audience in the short form context. Her two biggest platforms are TikTok and Instagram, where she has roughly 500,000 followers on each. With that, please kick us off, Jordan.
Thank you. As you know, yesterday the House passed the SAVE Act, and many married women, soon to be married women, are concerned that the new voter ID requirements may inhibit their access to the polls. What assurances can you give women voters in America to ease their concerns?
Sure. Well, the SAVE Act, as you mentioned, was passed by the House yesterday. This is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. I believe I'm getting that correct. And this act is a common sense measure. It would require proof of citizenship for voting in our elections. The Democrats have been fear-mongering about this bill, have been saying that married women, if their name has changed, they didn't change it on their identification population would not be able to vote. That is complete fallacy. There are outlined in the bill about how to avoid that. The president very much supports a common sense solution to ensuring that only citizens can engage in our elections. This is critical to improving the integrity of our elections and also the trust that American citizens need to have in our electoral process. So the president supports this bill, and that is a myth that has been proven wrong by the text of this bill. And I believe some of the co-sponsors of the bill have been very vocal in addressing that. And certainly, I myself, as a married woman, would not stand before this podium if the president did not support such a common sense measure.
Thank you. For my next question, I actually want to give a voice to the American people. I sourced the question from one of my listeners. Her name is Bryn. She is from Oregon. And she asked, what, if any, plans do you have, the administration, for the money that will be generated by tariffs imposed on foreign goods? How will the administration facilitate the development of American goods imposed on foreign goods? Administration for the money that will be generated by tariffs imposed on foreign goods. How will the
I thought that the White House was pretty clear, or members of the White House are pretty clear, that that revenue would either be used to fund the government in the way that the IRS has funded governmental activities. Once the IRS has been eliminated or whatever, as Trump has claimed his plan is. I don't know how serious that is. But also I've heard the idea floated around that revenue generated from tariffs would also be used to pay off the federal debt. I don't know how effective that would be either. But those are the two lines of questionings that those are the two plans that I've heard put forth by either members of the federal government or by people who are relatively influential politically. Also, I think it's fair to point out that many of the tariffs that were in place, I think at the time of this recording, have since gone away. And so there's going to be less tariff revenue to even pool money from.
The administration facilitate the development of American industries when many critical components, labor, parts, etc., are much cheaper and more feasible from foreign entities?
It's a great question from your listener, and I want to thank her for submitting it to you to ask. That's the part of the new media seat, is so that everyday Americans across the country have a voice in this room. So thank you again for being here. Thanks for the question. The president's point about his trade and tariff agenda is to bolster our manufacturing industries here in our country, to bring down the cost of living here in our country, and to ensure that we are maintaining critical supply chains here in America. We cannot be dependent on countries like China if we want this country to be strong and wealthy. So
isn't that about like the goal of the tariffs? Doesn't say how the money is going to be spent there and what will be done to alleviate the higher costs of manufacturing things in the United States.
President wants to restore wealth to America by shoring up these jobs here at home, which will result in good paying jobs and higher wages for the American public. And so Americans should trust in that process. He effectively implemented tariffs in his first term while driving down the cost of living in this country, and that's what he's focused on doing again. So thank you.
But he did that. That wasn't as dramatic, though. And I feel like she didn't answer the question about what would be done with the tariff revenue.
Question. Could I just ask, are there any specific ideas that the administration has as to what that revenue, specific tariff revenue, will be used for?
Yes, to the heart of your question, the president has spoke about the trillions of dollars that he expects in revenue from tariffs and how we can use it to pay down our debt and to ensure that.
Yep, I remember hearing that. Yes.
We are no longer faced with a crippling national debt in the trillions that is going to bankrupt our nation for future generations. So that money coming back home will make America in the green rather than in the red, which any small business owner across the country, I believe, can appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kelly.
Hey.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. I just wanted to react to that. I've enjoyed the Jordan is My Lawyer Unbiased Politics podcast. I don't watch it on YouTube. I listen to it. I listen to it in the audio podcast form, but great podcast, great show. I would highly recommend it for people who are looking for a more neutral or nonpartisan political podcast to enjoy, so that you can get a balanced perspective of positions on both sides. So highly recommend that podcast if you haven't checked that out already. Let's see. Oh man, we've got so many stories to talk about that I just don't think I have the time to cover. So I'm going to decide to pick on the one that is the most timely and most interesting, arguably the most shocking as well. We've got the story from Fox News. It says Pennsylvania police arrest suspect after governor's mansion set on fire while Governor Josh Shapiro's family slept. This is a horrible situation. Suspect Cody Balmer, 38, will be charged with terrorism, arson, and other offenses, as he should be. It's very shocking. You generally don't see acts of terrorism like this come from the right as much as you see from the left, because we see the Tesla stuff happening, things like that. It's all happening on the left. Here we have a shocking case of terrorism happening on the right as well. We've got right-wing terrorism against Josh Shapiro. If you guys are familiar with Josh Shapiro, he is one of the Democrats who was kind of in the front running for being Kamala Harris's running mate when she was running for president in 2024. She ended up going not picking him because I think he was too strongly pro-Israel or something. But a very prominent Democrat, about as prominent as Democrats can be nowadays. So let's go into the article. It says here, a man was arrested after allegedly setting fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion as Governor Josh Shapiro and his family slept inside early Sunday morning. At a press conference Sunday evening, authorities named 38-year-old Cody Balmer as a suspect. Balmer will be charged with attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault against an enumerated person, according to officials. I don't know what enumerated means. Pennsylvania Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens told reporters on Sunday that Balmer hopped the fence before the incident, which took place at around 2 a.m. He actively evaded troopers who were here to secure the residence, the official explained. While police were searching is when he attacked at the residence and broke in and set the fires. Oh my goodness. English. So that was all playing out over a period of several minutes. It was a very quick event that occurred and again. What? They should add like the sick thing that they usually add in those articles, where someone is speaking and they're transcribing it word for word. They should have those sick things in there, because like this is not the easiest thing in the world to understand. Kind of confusing. And troopers were actively searching for him at the time, Bivens added. The fire broke out overnight after Shapiro, considered a potential presidential contender for the Democratic Party in 2028, and his family celebrated the first night of the Jewish holiday of Passover. Oh, that's awful. Oh yeah, that's right, Shapiro. I guess I didn't consider that he might be Jewish. That's horrible. So I wondered if this is literally an anti-Semitic attack, which if this is just pure anti-Semitism, that actually doesn't shock me as much coming from the right then, versus just being purely, I don't like Democrats type of thing. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society, the politician said. And I don't give a dang if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or the other, or one particular person or another. It is not okay, and it has to stop. We have to be better than this. We've got this Zeet here from Governor Josh Shapiro himself. Says, last night at 2 a.m., my family and I woke up to bangs on the door from the Pennsylvania State Police after an arsonist set fire to the governor's residence in Harrisburg. The Harrisburg Bureau of Fire was on the scene, and while they worked to put out the fire, we were evacuated from the residence safely by Pennsylvania State Police and assisted by Capitol Police. Thank God no one was injured and the fire was extinguished. Every day we stand with law enforcement and first responders who run towards danger to protect our communities. Last night they did so for our family, and Lori and I are eternally grateful to them for keeping us safe. Pennsylvania State Police is on the scene leading this investigation and will keep the public updated. Let's see here. No one was injured and the fire was extinguished, the police said, adding that the fire caused significant damage to a portion of the residence. While the investigation is ongoing, the state police is prepared to say at this time that this was an act of arson. This was pretty horrible. I'm surprised that we're not seeing anyone say that maybe this was anti-Semitism, because it's one thing you're going to do an attack on Governor Josh Shapiro, and frankly, it's because you don't like the guy. I would imagine that it would have been done during the 2024 presidential election. right? Especially as Kamala Harris was picking her running mate. But to do it like on the first night of what's the Jewish thing called? I forget. Passover. Yes. To do this on the first night of Passover, just to me, it seems like anti-Semitism is a very, very likely motive in this scenario. And I think, this is very troubling because, especially since I don't see these types of things happening very often, what I'm hoping is that we don't see copycats, and also that this person acted alone and not with the assistance of some greater group who has plans to do similar attacks in the future. Because if that's the case, then we might end up having problems. This is just one guy. He's arrested. He can't burn anything else down right now. But if he has friends, if he's part of a group, if people look at him and admire him for whatever reason, and they're like, oh, we want to be like that dude who got arrested. We want to get arrested too by the police. Then, there's nothing really stopping this from sort of being a contagion, sort of like what we saw with school shootings. So hopefully it doesn't go there and we don't get to that point. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what updates we get from this particular situation. All right, I've got a bevy of other news stories, but I'm going to table them for future streams. And today, hold on, let me see all of these. We've got all these stories here. This story, this story, this story, this story, and a bunch of videos here that I thought would be very interesting to react to. But we don't have time for all of that today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be playing some X-Defiant on stream, and I'm going to be hopping onto the Discord server as well. Just to chat with whoever's available as I game. That's always fun to do. So here we go. Hold on, let me see. Why is the sound acting strange? Hold on, wait a second. Oh man, hold on. I think this is a Discord issue. Hold on. There we go. Okay, that should fix it. Let me check the audio now. Ah, I see. Okay. In the past, I've heard the sound get all weird, and I was like, well, what caused that? But I think it's because Discord was trying to use my the microphone in my wireless earbuds instead of the microphone from the my Fifine AM8. So one nice thing about X-Defiant is that because the game has ceased development, I don't have to wait for updates. Oh, let me turn on TTS as well. Let me turn on TTS so that you guys can send messages into the chat. Man, I need to carve out more time to stream in games so that I can grind this game more, because I'm sorely gonna miss this game when it's gone. I mean, I will probably replace this game with either the finals or Counter-Strike. But man, I'm gonna miss this game. Oh, Ubisoft Connect. Maybe there's gonna be a Ubisoft Connect update that I'll need to install. Oh, goody. Oh, no, it looks like the game's about to load. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh man, after this stream, I think I'm gonna go shoot some videos for the Not a Newbie Vlogs channel. Also, I don't know what's up with this. I keep on getting these messages ever since I reset my computer. I keep getting these messages whenever I do anything that involves networking. I get those messages. So strange. Can't get them to go away for the life of me. You know what? There might have been a do not show this message again thing that I did not check. That might be the source of my problems right there. But when I first was using the computer, on the initial installation, I didn't get that message. So very curious as to what caused that. Ooh. I will say, if I ever get a more powerful machine in the future, I definitely would be open to just maining like a Warzone or whatever. If the internet can handle it, wouldn't be opposed to that. Oh, that's kind of interesting. They got a mode where it shows your camera? Is that a Discord thing? That's kind of weird. I want to get rid of that because I already have my own overlay. Wait, that's got to be Discord, right? Yeah, it's Discord. How do I kill that? It's got to be like a setting, right? Yeah, hold on. That's a setting. How do I change that? Oh, no. And we've got, I think, video game messing up my audio too. Hold on. Okay, now I ran into this literally the last time I opened up this game. Let me see if I remember how to fix this problem. Let me see. Let's see. Sound. More sound settings. Okay, there we go. What was it? There's like a services thing I can go to. Hold on, wait, maybe it's Bluetooth and devices, more devices and printer settings. I think it's this one, right? And then hold on, I just gotta change the audio output. Does that fix it? No, because I can't hear anything now. Hold on. I literally fixed this problem last time I played this game. Oh. It's gone now. That's so weird. Huh. Weird. But hey, I ain't gonna... It's weird. Hold on, wait a second. Is there a way that I can... Okay, hold on. No, that didn't fix it. Weird. Because I do remember literally fixing the problem on the last time I played this game. It was one of the services I turned off. I forget which one it was. I thought for sure it was the hands-free telephony. But that just made the sound not work at all when I said it. Because now if I play sound... Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, so that was the setting. I guess I just needed to play different audio and it would start working. Let me make sure Discord's still up. Okay, there we go. And now I gotta fix this overlay issue. It's wild that me just getting everything to work is this much of a hassle. PlayStation doesn't have this problem. Okay, hold on. So if we go to the overlay. Okay, here we go. Game overlay. I've never explored this setting fully. This is kind of cool. So is there a way to get it to only show, yeah, I got it. Is there a way to only to not show video? Here, let me see. Now I could do only when speaking. Hold on, let me see. Let me do only when speaking. So if I go like this, and I go back to the game. So does it not show me in the overlay? I might do this for a little while, see how well this works. But just I think for me and for a lot of viewers, having my webcam in two different places would just be very, very distracting. And oh my, that's loud. Hold on. All the volume needs to be cranked down to 50. Way too loud. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the lobby. I want to play ranked. Hold on. Ends in 51 days. We have less than 2 months, boys, to play this game. R.I.P. lads. Actually, you know what? I know what I'm gonna replace this game with. It's gonna be CJX. Because CJX is maybe the same people, and it's gonna be free to play. So I'll just rock that. That'll be fun. If the gameplay is similar to this game is fire. People keep on whining about the netcode, but I think this gameplay is just fine. What was up with that weird person who sent those messages into the chat? It was so weird. I'm literally glad that I played the stroke video, because I was like, this seems like the messages of someone who's having an episode. I'm actually gonna leave this lobby because I don't think anyone's gonna join. But yeah, that was so bizarre. Like, it's just like NB, VMNB, MMB, MM. Like, it was wild. It was butt dialing on crack. Crazy. Actually, you know what? No one's doing this playlist either. The only ones that they're doing is the quick play. Yeah. Man, they really should just do another update that lets you play with bots. I wish they would do that. But I think they're not interested in that because I guess from a business perspective, it makes sense. If they're making new games, they don't want you stuck on this old game that they don't care about. Right? Like Siege X is gonna be free. There's gonna be no barrier of entry for former X-Defiant players to hop onto it. Times Square, man. I'm a city boy at heart. What can I say? Boo! Meltdown. I'm about to have a meltdown the way you guys picked that over Times Square. Boo! You know me. I don't ever even use the abilities, but ah, look at us. 6 idiots standing around in a circle. We're in a line, but
zone control. You're on the attack.
I love this mode.
Take the capture zones to unlock the next tier. I'll have that.
Oh, man, that guy took his sweet time with that too.
Reloaded. Sticky grenade. Out.
Oh, nice. I didn't know I could just pierce through that shield. Why is the time to respawn so high? I remember being a lot shorter for similar modes that I played. Oh. Oh. That person's killing it over there. Yo! Yo! What? Where did I get sniped from? That was I mean, I admit I was standing in the open, in a wide open window, but oh man, they got good coverage.
Your horse kills you several times in a row.
Hold on, they've got good coverage over there. Hold on, I gotta.
Reloading.
Oh. Because see, if no one is taking those people out, then they're just going to sit there and just pick us off all day.
The battle will conclude momentarily. Please gather all personal belongings.
Oh, come on. Absurd.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So those spawn. That was ridiculous. Those spawn points are garbage.
Switching sides. You're on defense.
I will say, for a good player of this game, I think this is going to be too easy. I'm not good though, so rip me, I guess. Ooh, clip farming. It's got a cool skin. Did that really hurt me?
Stymie the enemy's efforts to take more zones than your team did last round.
Oh. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Oh, I thought I got that person a few times. Very, very hard though. My recoil was sort of all over the place, it looked like. Not like in a gratuitous way, but when you're that far away, like the homeless people say, everything counts. Everything helps. Like, you know what I mean. You want less recoil the farther away you're shooting. If you're close to someone, it doesn't really matter as much.
Might exceed your progress at any moment. That's a bad thing.
Ah. I'm just gonna do this over and over again because I'm insane.
Keep the goons out of your zones.
But I hope someone is at zone A in taking back what the enemy stole from us. Oh. Nope. Nope, we took the big fat L.
You lost. At least I remain untainted by your poor performance. $2,000. Dang. Longest long shot kill. Wow, 80. Interesting. And I only got 2 kills. Landlord? I don't even know what that means.
All right, there we go. Man, that loaded up very quickly. Hold on. Why is there only one map available to vote on? Why vote if there's only one map? That doesn't make any sense. There we go, there we go. We got some of the same people here. I know Clip Farming was here before.
Attackers want to use their shiny new detonator. Defenders would prefer the detonator to stay mint in box. No respawns. Or, barring that, protect the bombs.
One thing I've always been shocked by with this game is how light this game runs.
Your teammates have all expired. Time to unleash your lone wolf persona.
You're gonna be kidding me.
The agony of defeat.
Wow, I can't believe I was the last man standing there.
Changing sides time.
Oh man. But he got the drop on me though. I did not really stand a chance there.
3, 2, 1. Blow up a bomb or send all foes to the hereafter. Whatever comes first.
Active demo.
All right, hold on. How does this work?
Need a dock here.
How does this work? I don't even know what to do.
I require first aid. All friendlies eliminated. Thoughts and prayers.
I don't know what to do,
etc.
I went to the place, but I was like, "What? There's no button for me to like detonate the bomb." Ah, I could have detonated the bomb, but there was no message like, "Oh, detonate the bomb here." What? How is this supposed to work? Is this like a WIP mode that like they didn't finish coding? I am to say I'm at a loss for words would be a lie, but my words would be those of consternation.
Time to hunt.
Only one foe remains. Your team made the other team dead.
Nice. You love to see it.
It's changing sides time.
So how do you defuse the bomb? I don't know. I don't know. Or detonate the bomb. Do I shoot it?
Detonate the bomb or kill all the goons. Both get you a win, although only one involves a cool fireball.
Need your camo.
My foes revealed.
Oh, trade.
Detonator in friendly. Friend is eliminated. Thoughts and prayers. Sorry for your loss, etc.
Oh, there's someone on here named Jesus King. That's cool. It's always nice to see a fellow believer in these video games.
Keep the bombs unexploded. I'm buzzing with anticipation.
What in the world? That guy was going crazy. What did he shoot? A grenade?
Friend is eliminated. Thoughts and prayers.
That was so weird. Is he a hacker? Because he was just standing there and then he shot through the wall in a moment.
Or set off one of the bombs. Do whatever feels good.
Oh, I see. So you're a hedonist. Oh.
We had the detonator, but now we don't.
Man, I thought that who was the person who killed me? That must have been someone else, because I killed the person who was shooting at me. Yeah, and it wouldn't be too. There was no shot.
Defeat.
Can't really blame him for that one.
Time to change sides.
So people keep on leaving this lobby because I know that one person with a cool skin isn't here anymore. Looks like it's finding a player for our team now.
2, 1.
Maybe people are just disgusted by my gameplay and I'm forcing them to flee our team. That'd be pretty funny if that was the case.
Somebody just take me.
Ooh.
They set the detonator. Hit down 2 button.
Remember when people were saying that this is the COD killer? Simpler times.
Defuse the detonator now, or forever reminisce about the time you failed to do so. All friend is eliminated. Thoughts and prayers,
close.
sorry for your loss, etc. You lost. At least I remain untainted by your poor performance.
Yeah, it's pretty crushing. But hey, it's nice to see this game promoting Christian values at the end of the match. So out of the 6 people who I started with, only 4 remained at the end. Sadness. Okay, one more round. One more shot, another round into the night is going down. One more round, and that'll be it, I think, for tonight.
Bagley here. I feel like I already know you. Probably because I scanned your browser history.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't call me a far-right extremist. No. Enlightened centrism is what I aspire towards. Did I join an existing game? Wow, so this game must really be lacking in players. Because I was in a game.
Help! Medic!
Be quiet. Because I was in a game and people kept on leaving the lobby. I was in a game and people kept on leaving the lobby, and then I'm joining this game where I'm basically replacing someone else's spot in the lobby, right? Like someone else must have left. So people must keep on leaving game lobbies in this game. This is, I'm defending the zone. That's what this said in Spanish, right? I think it was said. Why don't they have automatic translation in these games for the text cap? Ugh, boo. I like the music in this game.
You're burning. Consider extinguishing yourself?
Oh! Nada Tostada, that's a cool name. Nada Tostada. Bruh. Fire name. No!
Last zone. Keep it safe.
Oh, I love that skin on that gun. Very attractive skin. Oh, I got damage assist. That's nice. Maybe I must have dealt some considerable damage when I shot her in the collarbone.
Your might exceed your progress at any moment. That's a bad thing.
Oh my goodness. I thought I was going to be able to vault over and then jump into the zone to prevent them from getting more progress.
What a forgettable experience.
Won by 0.4% with a score of 86%. What are you talking about? Oh, I see. She's cooking. She's cooking. Let her cook. Well, I think that round doesn't count because it wasn't a full round. But this one's new? Let me try this then. Let me try this. Oh, these are all locked. These are all locked. Oh, I guess I have to play ranked, which like I can't really do anymore. Wait, I've got all these skins? Dude, these are so cool. How did I not know about these before? Himalaya. Voice chat disabled. Escort. What? Okay, okay, there we go. Finding player. Man, this game must be struggling now. I thought that people would keep on playing this game until it died, but I don't know. If it's already struggling to get players, we can't really complain that they killed the game, right?
To the delivery zone. Shoot at them so they can't do that.
Oh, not a tostada. Add it again.
Need a dock here.
Man, I got 7 health, bruh. Oh. Good one though. Good one though. Can't hate on the recon. Oh. I don't think we can force it back in this mode, can we? There was one mode I was playing where it's like you fight back and forth. Like, so one side gets it and it goes in another direction. Oh.
The teams reached a checkpoint. How disappointing.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I had this guy by the nape of the neck. Oh, man. What a soul-crushing shot in the back. Oh, what a shame. What a shame I wasn't gonna go through with I couldn't go through with that attack there. Yeah, cool name though.
They're nearing
Had
the
to do it to you,
checkpoint.
not a tostada. Had to do it to you. I look like I'm running on paint. Oh, nice, nice. It's good to see these people like coming at it from the side. Great strategy. Coming at the package from the side, providing coverage for their teammates.
Nothing cleans like burning.
Oh, had a kill streak of 2. Better than usual for me. Oh, it's scary how close they are. Oh, man. Ah, my wrist rest got in the way. But I was trying to turn and maneuver.
Payback. Kill the goons. Dead goons can't very well push the package, can they?
Bro, I'm trying. Ugh. Wasted too much time. As soon as I saw that guy peek his head up off that ridge there, I should have just blown it off. But I felt like I needed to get to a more strategic position. I felt like a very awkward position where I was. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. I literally just went by the package.
Now you're on the attack. Leave no package behind.
Okay, here we go. Aggro loadout. Okay. Nice. See how this goes. I've never fired with any of these weapons before. Woo! Love this gun. Okay.
They reached the delivery zone last time. Now you just need to do the same, but faster.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me! Oh, he was. I thought I had him. Maybe I was too far away? Dude, this gun's low-key golded. This gun is low-key goated. Bro, what are we talking about right now? This is crazy. What in the world? My wrist. Hold on, let me see. Wait, let me up the sensitivity. Okay. Yeah, let me up the sensitivity there. That should help. Because I should be able to just like whip around without worrying about my wrist rest. Oh Well, I cannot can't complain or blame him for that. That was good. Oh, he's good.
Package is retreating. Sometimes you just have to get back on the horse, even after your horse kills you several times in a row.
Oh, what a shame. I just couldn't see him that well, so... Yeah, I know it's on my glasses, those are new. Ooh.
Help! Grenade! Help! Medic! Here go!
Oh man, come on.
Likes the hike.
At least gotta push it.
In.
What is he? Is he sniping me? At such a short range? Oh, someone needs to get him. That guy's annoying. What kind of weapons are they using? Because I don't know if that was a sniper. Annoying. Oh, Gold Joe is good. Or at least he's a lot better than me. Yeah, that's an L. That's an L chat. It's an L chat. We gotta take that one.
Not even I could fix this huge, embarrassing loss.
So true. Gold Joe, you did good. You did good. Props to you, man. Nice. What was on the scoreboard? How did I do? Pretty badly. I'm not great at these games, but I feel like that was a better than average outing there for me. Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna leave the lobby. I'm gonna leave the lobby. What a shame, what a shame. RIP this game, man. So much fun. But we'll be moving on to CHX, I suppose. So we'll see how that ends up going. All right, let me see here. All right, thanks everyone who tuned into the stream. I do appreciate each and every one of you, including the one who had a stroke. If you guys, I don't know if that was a stroke or not, I don't know, but if you guys want my content more regularly, I know I stream somewhat sporadically, check out that 9 Newbie Highlights channel where I upload at noon every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also check out my Discord server. The link is on screen, dscrd.ntwb.cc is a place you want to be if you want to chat with me. I pool like topics and stories and things to react to, even videos from the Discord server. So if you want to impact the things that I talk about, go over to the Discord server and send me a suggestion or two. But that's all that I have for you guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Peace out, y'all.